Hi, welcome to Movie Maps. Today I am going to explain horror, mystery, thriller film from 2002, titled Ghost Ship. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The story begins in 1962. The Antonia Grazia, an ocean liner, is at sea, where passengers are enjoying dinner and dancing to Francesca's music. A little girl, Katie Harwood, sits alone, not enjoying herself as much as the others. She is bored sitting there. Later, the ship's captain asks her to dance, to which she agrees. While everyone is enjoying themselves, someone suddenly pulls a lever to release a wire, which slices through everyone on the dance floor, except Katie. Because due to her height, the wire passes over her head, and everyone on the ship dies. And the ship's captain also dies. Now Katie sees this and gets very scared, and starts screaming loudly. After this, we see a scene 40 years later. We meet 6 crew members of Salvagers, including Captain Murphy, Maureen Epps, Greer, Dodge, Munder, and Santos. They are rescuing a random ship. Epps refuses to give up so easily. She uses a wire to move between the ships. She enters the rescued boat and finds a hole in the port floater, and starts working on repairing the hole, while Munder and Dodge also come to help her. She hammers a piece of metal that the men weld. A few hours later, we find out that the group has been successful in their rescue, and Murphy and all the crew go to a bar where Murphy buys them around. They are celebrating when a man ferryman comes to them, who wants to hire them. Ferryman tells them his story. He flies Arctic Weather Patrol flights from Mackenzie Bay, and last month when he was in the middle of the strait he saw something. He shows them a picture of a ship in the Bering Sea, which he tried to contact but to no avail, so he thought he would tell them. He told the Coast Guard about it, but since the ship is in international waters, they just wrote it down. He didn't even know the name of the ship, but he saw it again a few days ago. Ferryman only asked for 20% of the findings, and promises that he has not told anyone else about it. Murphy asks for a minute alone with his crew. After Ferryman leaves, the crew discusses whether to take this job or not. Greer is already out for 6 months, and this will take another week. He hasn't seen his fiancée for a long time either. But he agrees, so everyone agrees to go find out. They call Ferryman and tell him they will give him 10%, but he only agrees on the condition that he goes with them. They then set sail in their tugboat at sunset. Santos is driving the boat, and everyone else is enjoying themselves and talking on the boat. Santos notices something on the radar, and he calls Murphy, tells him that something has shown up. But Murphy says that it is your imagination, there is nothing there. Seconds later he sees it again. Murphy calls Epps, and after he arrives, he tries to contact the mysterious ship, while Epps notices how they appear on the radar. Suddenly, a very large ship appears in front of them, so Santos has to stop their boat, but the engine is damaged. They check the ship with lights, and Murphy is shocked to see the name. This ship is Antonia Grazia. It was an Italian ship that went missing off the coast of Labrador in 1962, but the strange thing is that it had returned after so many years. Murphy explains that every captain was looking for it, but now it is theirs. They bring their ship closer to rescue it. Greer and Ferryman stay behind, while the remaining crew members go to investigate. They note the condition of the ship. When they find a door, they go inside, which breaks Greer's connection with them. The crew wanders through different rooms when they hear a voice. They follow it, and find a pendulum clock that is still ticking, and Munder gets scared when the time is corrected. Their laughter echoes in the ship. They go to another room, where Katie's old toy is seen moving on its own on the table. In the tugboat, Greer is worried about the lack of communication. But on the ship, the crew moves forward without much worry. They enter a lower level of the ship and keep looking around when suddenly, the floor breaks under Munder. Epps catches him and saves him from falling, but he remains hanging and she falls on the floor. Just then, Epps sees Katie through the hole, but then she disappears. It forces Epps to think about it, and she doesn't tell anyone about it. After a while, they reach the ship's control room. Munder discovers that the compass and helm are dead, and Dodge notices that the fuel tanks are empty. They think that the ship must have kept running until the fuel ran out. On the other hand, Murphy finds a log document on the desk, which he wants to take back with him. On another table, Dodge finds a digital watch. He is shocked to see this watch because the watch did not exist in 1962. And Murphy thinks that they are not the first people to find the ship. Someone else has been here before. But now it was quite late, so he orders everyone to go back. They will start checking in the morning. all the crew come back to their tugboat. Ferryman asks them if they were able to find out what happened to the ship. Murphy says that it is a very old ship that disappeared in 1962 and has now returned, which Ferryman calls a ghost ship, but Dodge says that's nonsense. They later discuss their plan. Murphy wants to rescue the ship as they have done before, but Santos doesn't think their small tugboat will be able to rescue such a big ship. Greer says that if Santos fixes the engine, then he can do this for his part. After that, Murphy says that it is night now and we should sleep. When Epps is alone, she is very worried, and she is repeatedly remembering the same moment when she saw Katie. She is unable to think about what to do now. Just then Ferryman comes to her. He asks what happened, but she refuses to tell him. But on Ferryman's forcing, she tells him, after hearing which Ferryman becomes silent. It seems that maybe he knows about it. He just says that you are not feeling well, that's why you should sleep, and take some medicine and rest. The next morning Captain Murphy and all the crew members were preparing for their mission. Murphy tells everyone that the ship is sinking in the water, and it has to be fixed somehow and taken to the shore, after which everyone gets to their work. Epps goes to a lower apartment of the ship where there was a pool. She looks around there and sees some bullets in the pool, and thinks that if everyone died from the sinking of the ship, then how are these bullets here? And there were many holes in the pool. But when she is about to go back, suddenly Katie comes in front of her again, seeing which Epps falls down again. Just then we see that the blood that comes out of Epps's head after falling goes into a small hole. After that she disappears from there again. But Ferryman comes in front of her, and she tells him about this accident and leaves from there. But we see that the holes in the pool are now starting to bleed, and in no time, the entire pool is filled with blood. On the other side, we see Captain Murphy, and he is also inspecting the ship. He reaches a captain's cabin and starts looking around. Suddenly, he notices an open beer bottle, from which he starts drinking. But suddenly, when he looks in the mirror, he sees the shadow of the ship's captain, which scares him, and he drops his glass and leaves from there. Over there, we see Greer, who was doing his work on the ship, but suddenly he hears the sound of a song, and he ignores it and starts going forward, and he reaches the place where Francesca was entertaining people with her singing on this ship. Meanwhile, on the other side, Epps and Ferryman also reach a place where they find a door that is closed. Now they wanted to know the truth behind this door, and when they open that door, suddenly a lot of water comes out of it, in which there were many bodies as well. Now they start going back in fear, but the door of the path from which they came is now locked, and now they start going another way. Then they go ahead to the ship's storeroom, where they find some boxes. When they open the boxes, there was a lot of gold in them. Everyone comes there and is very happy to see that now they don't need to check the whole ship. And now everyone will take their share of the gold and leave. After that, Santos gets the tugboat's engine ready, when we see someone opening the propane gas, as if some force is opening it. Epps and Captain Murphy were preparing to shift the gold, but Epps sees Katie again. She wanted to tell Epps something, but before she could tell, something throws her off there. On the other hand, Santos finds out about the propane gas, but before he could do anything, there is a huge explosion, which destroys their ship, and Santos burns to death. Now all these people become sad because the ship they were going to return with has now been destroyed, and now they decide to repair the same ship, and now they had to spend time on the same ship. Then Epps remembers that before the explosion, Katie wanted to tell her something. Now thinking about Katie, Epps wants to know. She checks the ship's data where she finds out that the girl who is repeatedly appearing in front of her is named Katie. Now she wanted to know more about Katie, and from that data, Epps finds out Katie's room number, and she goes to check. As soon as Epps reaches the room, she gets scared. She finds Katie's hanging skeleton there. Actually, after that day's accident, Katie had hanged herself. She finds a locket on Katie's skeleton. The locket had a photo of Katie's parents. Just then Katie comes there, and she asks Epps for the locket, but the locket passes through her hand. Then they look at Dodge and Munder in the kitchen, who are eating and enjoying their meal. But in the next moment, the food turns into worms, and they vomit. In the next scene, we see Murphy sitting in a room. Then the soul of the ship's captain comes and tells him about the ship's accident. He tells Murphy that they had rescued his ship and brought all the gold on it to their ship. But a few days later, our ship disappeared. On the other hand, Greer reaches the dance floor, where suddenly everything starts to change, and Francesca appears in front of him. Then she traps him in her net and kills Greer. Then Katie tells Epps everything, that there are souls of many people on this ship, who are still in someone's possession, and until this ship is destroyed, those souls will not be free. And all those souls are wandering in this ship. Epps was about to ask the man's name when suddenly blood starts appearing on the walls. Seeing this, Katie gets scared and tells Epps to leave from there and disappears herself. Captain Murphy now knows the whole truth and wants to leave the ship. He starts looking for Epps, but Santos comes in front of him, meaning Santos had also become a soul. Then he starts running away from there. But Epps comes there and Murphy attacks her thinking she is Santos. And from behind, Ferryman comes and knocks Murphy unconscious. After that, all the team members tie Murphy up in a place. Now they all wanted to get out of the ship, because now their lives were in danger. After that, they all start repairing the ship. On the other hand, Epps was going to find Greer when Katie appears in front of her. She tells her that Greer is now dead. After that, Katie tells her that she wants to show her something. She shows Epps a scene from 1962. She sees how the people on the ship died. Actually, in the accident at the beginning of the movie, only a few people died due to a wire, and the rest of the people were killed in some other way. The ship's co-captain did all this because he was greedy and had his eyes on the gold that was rescued. He started killing everyone with his companions and poisoned everyone's food. And after that he killed his own companions. And he left the singer Francesca, because he was crazy after seeing her beauty. But everyone was greedy for this gold, and Francesca also killed the co-captain. And she did this at someone's behest. Epps sees that it was none other than Ferryman who asked Francesca to do all this. Epps is very shocked to see this, and she became greedy and later killed Francesca as well. She thinks that Ferryman is not a human being but a devilish calamity, which is hunting all the souls. After killing everyone, he makes a mark on their hand, by which that soul comes under his control. Epps finds out that Murphy is innocent. Actually, Murphy knew the whole truth, and that's why Ferryman knocked Murphy unconscious. In Murphy's hand, we also see the photo that the ship's captain gave him. But before Epps arrives, he is now dead. She goes to Dodge and tells him to keep an eye on Ferryman, and says she is going to find Munder, who is repairing the ship underwater. Epps sees that Ferryman has killed him too. On the other hand, Ferryman goes to Dodge and starts asking about Epps, but he doesn't say anything and tries to stop him. But when he doesn't stop, he shoots him dead and starts to go to Epps. Just then, Epps wanted to ballast this ship and starts planting bombs all around. Dodge tries to stop her and says that we can now take this gold because I have killed Ferryman, and now we can live a comfortable life. Epps is suspicious as to why Dodge didn't ask about Munder. Then he laughs and turns into Ferryman. In fact, he had also killed Dodge. He says that I kill everyone and collect their souls, and now I will become very powerful, and now you are also going to die, and I will now rule this world, and it is very important to have this ship. Epps does not agree with him, and a fight breaks out between them. Just then, Epps puts an arrow into Ferryman's leg, and with the same arrow, she aims at the button on the remote and blasts the ship, and then the ship is destroyed. But Epps saves her life, and she gets stuck in some parts of the ship. Just then Katie comes in front of her, who shows her the way to get out of the ship. At that moment we see that Epps is coming above the water, and with her are all the souls of the ship, whom Ferryman had taken into his possession, and now they were free. Epps keeps swimming in the water all night with the help of a wood, and as soon as it is morning, a very big ship saves her. The ship people are preparing to take her to the hospital. Just then she sees that the gold is also being rescued. Then she also sees Ferryman who is working with them to rescue the gold. Epps tries to stop him but the door closes. And our movie ends with this. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.